Hey class, today I'm going to talk to you about inventions, and I'm only going to mention a few inventions and inventors. The first one I'm going to talk about is Thomas Edison, who invented the first practical light bulb. Alright, and the reason this is important is because in factories, if you're working late hours, okay, then you can have light and you can continue to work in a safer environment. Okay, and not only that, but it helps with urbanization, right? People moving to cities. If you're in a city and you don't have light at night versus you can get light at night, that's going to be much more inviting and more helpful. If you're on a farm and you can't get electricity, then you can't use a light bulb. So people are moving to the cities. That's one reason. Another invention that I'm going to talk about is Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone. All right, think of bell as a ringing noise, right? It rings when someone calls you. All right, he invented the telephone, which is important for communication. All right, if I'm making a big business and I want to communicate to another big business across the country or even in another country, the telephone is going to help me coordinate that, help me make sure we're on the same page. All right, so it was really important as far as the growing of America and the connection between other countries, especially on the railroad. All right, the third thing I'm going to talk about is Henry Ford, and there's kind of a couple different inventions involved in this. The first is the affordable Model T, and the reason he was able to make affordable is because instead of 2 cars a day, he could then make 100 cars a day. And he did this through the moving assembly line, which used also the scientific management process or method, which says if you only do 1 task a day, then that will help you produce quicker, all right? And so the scientific management with the moving assembly line helped produce more cars that people could afford, which then allowed them to travel throughout the city, okay? So that's why that was important. It made traveling easier. Fourth thing I'm going to talk about is the Henry Bessemer with the Bessemer process, which took iron and it turned it into steel in 20 minutes. All right, and steel is better than iron because it lasts longer, it's stronger metal, all right, so that means it's safer, all right, and so people couldn't really use steel until you could use the Bessemer process. Now it's cheap and you can mass produce it, you can produce a lot of it, and they use it in railroads, in building buildings, in bridges. I mean, just think about how many things in this world use metal, okay? And then lastly is if I'm making all that steel, not only will people in my country want to buy it, but other countries are coming to America to buy our steel, which then makes America more wealthy, which then gives them more power in the world. Okay? So again, very, very important because it just increased so many different things. Alright, so those are the 4 inventions we're talking about. Make sure you know the inventors and the inventions and why it's important. Thank you.